I came to the winter cabin because the silence felt safer than people. After my sister died, noise made my chest ache. City sounds, voices, even music. The cabin belonged to my uncle, empty for years, buried in snow and trees. I felt the cold would numb me enough to breathe again. At night, I'd sit near the small fireplace, wrapped in a blanket that still smelled faintly of old smoke and dust. The wind whispered through the pines like someone sighing for too long. I kept her last voicemail on my phone, but never played it. I wasn't ready. I told myself this place would help me grieve in peace. But peace in isolation is fragile. It breaks quietly.
My days fell into a routine. Chop wood, boil canned soup, check the generator, write in a notebook I never planned to show anyone. Snow fell almost every night, soft and endless, the kind of quiet that feels heavy, like it's pressing on your ears. On the third night, I heard something outside while brushing my teeth. Just one slow crunch in the snow near the porch. I froze, listening. Nothing followed. I told myself it was a deer, or wind knocking snow off a branch. Still, I locked the door. I hadn't been doing that before. Later, when I turned off the lights, I thought I saw movement pass across the frosted window. But when I looked again, there was only white and dark trees.
The next night, the footsteps returned. Slow, heavy, purposeful. They circled the cabin once. I stood in the dark holding a kitchen knife I barely trusted myself to use. The steps stopped right outside my bedroom wall. I waited for a knock, a voice, anything human. Nothing came. In the morning, I opened the door. Fresh footprints surrounded the cabin. Bare feet. No shoes, no animal tracks. Just deep, human impressions in the snow. They ended at the porch, as if whoever made them had vanished into thin air. I laughed to convince myself I wasn't scared. That night, the steps came back. Closer. Louder. This time, they stopped at the door. And something tapped. Once. Softly. From that night on, I was never fully alone. I felt it in the way the air seemed to tighten after sunset, in how the shadows inside the cabin stretched longer than the firelight allowed, in the sound of breathing that didn't match my own. Sometimes I heard whispering through the walls, my name drawn out, slow. I stopped sleeping more than an hour at a time. Every noise snapped my eyes open. I kept all the lights on, even though the generator groaned under the strain. When I checked the windows, I sometimes found fog on the glass from the outside, as if someone had been standing close, breathing against it. I hadn't told anyone where I was going, so there should have been no one out there with me. On the seventh night, the knocking changed. It wasn't cautious anymore. It was familiar. "Let me in." My sister's voice. My body went cold in a way the winter never managed. Her voice was exact. Every soft break, every tired breath. The voice I hadn't heard since the hospital room. "I'm freezing," it said. "You promised you wouldn't leave me alone." Tears burned my eyes. My hand shook on the door latch. Logic screamed that this was wrong, that she was dead. I had seen the body. I had touched her hand after it went cold. But grief is louder than logic. The handle turned slowly from the outside, and I realized my dead sister still knew how to use doors. I ran to the back room as the front door creaked open behind me. The sound of barefoot steps moved across the wooden floor. Wet, heavy, too slow to be human. I tried the back door, frozen shut. Footsteps drew closer. Breathing followed. Shallow. Wrong. The lights flickered. The generator coughed and died. Darkness swallowed the cabin whole. I bolted for the bedroom window and shoved it open. Snow spilled inside like a white wave. Something grabbed my ankle. Its grip was ice cold. Fingers too long. Too many joints. I kicked and screamed. The sound felt small in the dark. The thing hissed my name in my sister's voice. And pulled. I don't know how I broke free. Pain erased time. I remember crawling. I remember sobbing so hard I couldn't breathe. I remember the snow swallowing my face as I dragged myself outside. The woods spun, shadows bent. Every tree became her shape, her face, her mouth opening and dark smiles. "You should have stayed," her voice whispered from everywhere. Maybe I was bleeding. I couldn't feel it. My thoughts shattered into pieces that wouldn't connect. I couldn't remember which direction led to the road. I couldn't remember how long I had been running. I only knew something was following me. Not fast, patient, confident that I was already lost. I saw the cabin again through the trees. That's when I understood. The woods had folded in on themselves. No matter how far I ran, the path curved back. The snow erased my footprints as soon as I made them. The forest wasn't letting me leave. The front door stood open. Warm light spilled out. The fire burned again. Inside, I saw myself sitting by the fireplace. Not a reflection, another me. It lifted its head and smiled with my sister's teeth. Hands closed around my shoulders from behind. I was dragged backward through the doorway. The wood slammed shut on its own. The fire roared higher, lighting the room in violent orange. My double stepped toward me. Its skin rippled, shifting between my face and my sister's. Bones moved underneath like trapped snakes. "Your grief made you weak," it said. "Your love made you open." The thing behind me forced my head up so I had to watch. My double opened its mouth impossibly wide and screamed with my voice. Pain tore through my chest as something pushed into me, cold, invasive, endless. My memories split apart. My thoughts bled away. I felt myself being emptied and something else being poured in. I woke up beside the fireplace. The same blanket, the same quiet. The storm outside had ended. My body felt lighter, too light. When I stood, my reflection and the dark window moved half a second slower than I did. Outside, fresh footprints circled the cabin, bare feet. In the distance, I saw a figure approaching through the snow, thin, exhausted, carrying grief like a wound that never closed. My sister's voice rose from my mouth without my permission. "Let me in," I called gently. The door handle turned, and deep inside, where my soul used to be, something colder than winter smiled.